I've been using the S22 Ultra for a little over a month now, and I kind of want to go over some things that I liked and some things that I did not like, or do not like rather, about actually owning the S22 Ultra. And it's for anybody who owns it, or if you are considering getting this device, this should provide some kind of good insight for you. So the first thing that you're going to be noticing about this device versus so many others is going to be the S Pen. The S Pen that it comes with has a lot of features, some of which include the screen off memo, which is really nice to use. That lets you pop the S Pen out of the bottom of it and just start writing right on the actual screen. Really good if you're inside of a store, or maybe you're at home just trying to kind of just jot down some groceries that you want to get from Walmart or wherever you actually like to shop at. So I like the screen off memo a whole lot, and the fact that the S Pen is a Bluetooth charged one, so it actually has even further accuracy than just a regular plain stylus is really nice. And I like that it goes right inside. The phone will actually charge the S Pen for you, so you don't need a separate charger for it. It's housed inside of the device, and it will actually be charged for by the phone as well. So really cool features with the S Pen. A lot of other things that you can do too is you can actually start drawing something on the S22 Ultra, and if you actually have something like the Tab Ultra tablet, you can actually continue that drawing right over there seamlessly, and it's a really cool experience. I also like too with this S22 Ultra, and I actually got the Tab S8 Ultra, and you can actually use your phone as a palette to pick a color that you want to use and just go ahead and keep sketching and drawing right over there on the tablet. So it's really cool the way that they have made the usability of the S22 Ultra to work together with the tablet, but you also get a similar experience, so it's not something so different. So it's not like, let's say like the iPhone, it doesn't have any dedicated Apple stylus that actually works with it. But over here on the S22 Ultra and the tablets, the Galaxy tablets I like, is that you can actually start the drawing on your phone. It'll automatically sync over to your tablet, and then you can even go as far as to either use the S Pen that comes with your tablet, or you can use that S Pen that came with your tablet and use it to pick a color and use your phone as a color picker. So I just think that the way that they really married those two devices is really nice, especially for artists and people who just love to sketch and draw and kind of just draw out those ideas a whole lot. So another thing that I like to use also, you know, when it comes to using the S22 Ultra is if you're marking up documents like PDFs or pictures, it's really nice because I don't know how many of you, I'm going to give you a hot tip now. So if you're actually drawing something, let's say you draw a very ugly circle, okay? If you kind of hold your S Pen or your finger in place, you can actually get like an auto correction, and it's different shapes that's going to actually take advantage of this feature right here on your S22. But when you're marking up documents or PDFs, using that S Pen to do that is really handy. It's pretty nice. I really like it. So you can also use the S Pen if you're actually taking pictures with a group of friends, or by yourself, maybe you're doing a solo photo shoot for the gram or something, I don't know. But either way, you can actually use the S Pen to actually take a picture, to actually control the shutter on your actual S22 Ultra device, which is really useful, really handy. You can actually put your phone up or have it put up on like a stand and actually stand back, and so long as you actually have the S Pen, you can actually click the button and actually take a group picture with this really great camera setup, which we'll get into in a few minutes. Now, when it comes to the display, of course, the number one thing that you're going to notice is one, it's a Samsung display. So you already know automatically that you're going to be getting a top-notch display. It's going to be so crispy. The colors are vibrant. Everything looks just sharp and detailed and just beautiful. So this phone display is definitely one of the best phone displays out there, if not the absolute best phone display on any smartphone so far this year. So don't worry about how sharp is the colors, how clear is it. You can go all the way up to 2K on a resolution, but also the brightness has been upped and really kicked up a whole notch. So if you're outside looking at something, let's say you're reading an article or looking over text messages, you're waiting in one of those long lines that you're going to be waiting in like at an amusement park this summer, you know, using it inside of direct sunlight is going to be very bright, very clear. You're going to need to actually go into settings and make sure that you turn on the setting to get it to the extra brightness. But once you actually have it on and you're outside, I've had absolutely no problems with using my phone inside of direct sunlight, middle of the afternoon, clear sunny day, no clouds at all. I can view everything, all the text, everything super clear on side of the Galaxy S22 Ultra's display. Probably one thing that is an issue for some people is going to be the edges of the screen actually do slightly curve. It's not a lot, but just it's a little bit. And I think, you know, depending on how you're holding your phone, if you kind of like tilt it a little bit, you can see a little bit of a darkness on the edges. It's not a deal breaker for me. I think the display looks really nice, but so far that the edges with the screen edges kind of folded down don't really add any extra functionality. It's just more of a design preference. So if you are somebody who likes a flatter display, kind of like on the S22 Plus or the regular S22, those phone designs are going to be a lot more suited for you when it comes to that, because there is a slight curve on the S22 Ultra. I like it, but if you're somebody who does not like curved displays at all and you want just a purely flat display, then the S22 Ultra, just take note that it does have a small curve to it. Now, when you're actually holding this phone, it is going to be more of a boxy design to it. It's not going to be one of those curvy, rounded displays for the screen, and as well as the body of the device outside, you know. It's not, it's more of a squarer type. And I would say the edges are a little sharper. It's not like very sharp, but it's definitely a very clean, boxy design. So if you're somebody who does not like that kind of design, just take note. I think it looks nice. It gives you more real estate to read your text, okay? Because the curved displays look nice, but if you're actually wanting to just kind of max out your real estate for what you're viewing, then you're going to want to have it kind of stretched to the corners. So I can appreciate it. Also, it's pretty much the Note 22 Ultra, really. So, you know, kind of like a notepad, your paper, you know, when you buy a notebook, it's not going to really be curved like that. It's going to be straight. It's going to be rectangular. So it's still true to having like a notepad when it comes to that. Same as a canvas. If you're drawing on, most canvases for art canvases are going to be squared off edges, not so much rounded. You can get rounded, but just sticking to that classic design, it's going to be boxier design. I will say, if you're somebody who gets OCD about dust around the camera lenses, if you turn, like when you're holding this phone and you turn it over, I do prefer the S21 Ultra's camera module design. I like how they housed it. It just looked really, really cool, like some kind of Terminator. Just really, I liked it. I prefer it. On the S22 Ultra, it looks pretty nice too, but because there's no kind of module around it, the cameras are just kind of like floating on that top left part of the device. Dust definitely finds every way to kind of just kind of settle in between those camera lenses. So if you're somebody who's going to be crazy about that, just know that when you take your phone out of your pocket, you're probably going to have dust all around those lenses. Of course, you can keep a lint-free cloth with you, or if you don't really care about it, like I don't really care about it too much, it doesn't mess with any of my pictures, just dust around the lenses, just know, it could drive you crazy. Now, when it comes to the cameras are very good. I had no problems with taking pictures. I found the camera to be reliable. The pictures turned out sharp. Video was great for me also. And I didn't have really any problems when it came to capturing pictures of my kids, animals, nature shots, wide shots. And of course, the best thing about this phone is going to be the zoom. So the zoom capability up here is really good. But I will say, even if it's sunny and bright outside and you zoom up to 100, your picture could look kind of Play-Doh-y, oversaturated. Like, you'll kind of know what it is, but it's not going to be like at a 10 times zoom. But I do think with time, Samsung is going to continue to make the zoom capability a whole lot sharper and better. I still think it's amazing that you can zoom in and still get a picture of something and just be able to see that far out. That part is amazing. You can really, like, there's been times I've been able to zoom in and literally see text on the building super far away. And I think those kind of things they're neat for capturing certain kind of pictures, or maybe there's a turtle out in the pond that's further out in the middle of the water. I've actually got some pretty cool shots like that with my kids. So yeah, the zoom capability is pretty good. I think sticking around 10 and 30 is going to be the best looking shots for the zoom capability. Once you go past that, kind of tends to be nothing to brag about, but it still is still useful for capturing those pictures of the moon, something that if you ever try that on the iPhone, it's not happening. Now, there is also a pro mode for people who like to use more advanced features when it comes to actually using your smartphone camera to take different shots in different scenarios. So if you are a pro user, that is not me. But if you are a pro user, Samsung does let you actually dig into that, and it does have a special mode that I think recently just came out when it comes to actually capturing raw image photos. So that'll be two things to keep in mind. It does have a pro mode for diving deeper, and it also does have a raw image that you can download, a capture mode that you can download from the Galaxy Store. When it comes to performance, I had zero issues with this phone. Everything has been buttery smooth. I haven't had any problems with gaming. I haven't had any problems with surfing the web. I haven't had any problems with launching applications. Everything has performed well. And I know that there was different controversy surrounding the gaming mode that was on the actual device and Samsung underclocking it. I don't like that they did that. It's more of an integrity issue with the company. But even before that whole gaming mode controversy started, I wasn't having any problems with any of my games. Everything ran super smooth. Even on the Z Fold 3, everything ran smooth. I really didn't have any problems. So I do like that they went ahead and came out with the fix for it instead of just kind of letting the problem sit. But honestly, I haven't even turned on that gaming mode, and my games still run just fine. Probably with the exception of a popular game being Genshin Impact, which, as we know, is not optimized for, really just not optimized for Android. But I wouldn't say it's optimized for the S22 Ultra, not as well as it is for the iPhone. So I think like Genshin Impact is still capped at 60 FPS, and there's still no direct game controller support for it here on the S22 Ultra. Whereas over on the iPhone, you can go all the way up to the 120, which is what I would love to see here on the S22 Ultra. But also you have you can actually use a Bluetooth game controller on the iPhone, and you still cannot do that here. So I find that more to be, this phone is definitely more than capable of doing the same thing, but the company simply has not optimized it for Android, has not optimized it for the S22 Ultra. So if that's your #1 go-to game, just know the experience will be pretty good. At default, it's going to be like on the medium or high settings. And so just know it's going to play pretty well. I still think that the performance-wise for that particular game is going to be better on the iPhone. But the biggest pain in the butt when it comes to playing that game on the iPhone is after you playing for a while, you start really getting into your game, the screen will dim, which is buzzkill. And so that doesn't happen here on the S22 Ultra. So it's one of those weird trade-offs. You know, my screen does not dim when it comes to gaming here on the S22 Ultra. But just that optimization of that game, or further optimization of that game, Genshin Impact specifically, it still works better on the iPhone, in my opinion. So it's a toss-up. But other than that game, which again isn't optimized to work on this device or really Android devices as well as it is for the iPhone, I would say that gaming on this device is really good. Of course, #1 thing that you can do on the S22 Ultra here that obviously no iPhone can touch is going to be emulation. And so you still have all of those emulations, and you can still set that up on Samsung DeX to put on your big screen, put on your projector. If it has the, if you have a USB-C to HDMI, you can put it on a projector for big screen gaming, all from your phone. Use a Bluetooth gamepad and connect that to your phone, and you have literally so many actual gaming consoles on the S22 Ultra, which is incredible. And there's so many more games, so many better games too, that you can actually play from actual big name companies if you can actually go on the internet and find those emulators and find those ROMs. And a lot of those emulators are right inside of the Google Play Store. So gaming to me has been really, really good. I don't have any complaints when it comes to performance, and when it comes to loading any other kind of applications or recording videos and needing to actually you know, process those once I'm finished, whatever I'm doing my editing, everything has worked good. Is it going to be as fast on paper as some other devices? Not all of the time, but it's more than fast enough. One thing that is kind of annoying, I will say, with this phone, however, and it's more of it's a really simple software fix from Samsung, is when you download an application. So I like to play different games, but every time I download a game, if it does not stretch automatically past the hole punch camera on the display, I have to manually go into every single game that I want and have it stretched to take advantage of the full display. Otherwise, the game will cut off before the hole punch. Now, if you go into settings, you can easily change that, but I do wish that they had a toggle so that every game that I download would just automatically take advantage of the full display instead of me having to go in and manually, for each individual application, make it stretch full screen. And again, this is a really simple software fix that Samsung can actually push out. So Samsung, if you happen to find the video this video here from a very tiny creator here on YouTube, and you are listening, I hope you take this advice. Give us an option to automatically have all of the apps take advantage of the full screen. And if there's a way to do that, I simply don't know it. Please make sure that you drop that knowledge down inside of the comment section below. Help a brother out. Last but not least is going to be battery life. And when it comes to using the phone, I can use it all day long. I can go on Instagram. I can look at different web pages. I can play different games. I can binge watch YouTube videos, listen to YouTube music, do all of that stuff, read some comics, and I still will be just fine when it comes to using my phone. It's not the kind of phone that you're going to need to be near a charger a whole lot. So my phone usage has actually lasted me all day long unless I'm doing certain things. So if I'm using graphic heavy gaming applications, of course that's going to drain the battery more. If you are into the ride sharing, or you do like some of the gig applications, like I like to drive Uber or DoorDash sometimes, my battery life has been pretty good on those, but I would still keep a charger. It's a good idea to do this anyway, but I would still keep a car charger inside the vehicle with you still. I would say I felt more comfortable battery life wise with the iPhone 13 Pro Max than any other device, but I think that's still the battery champ. The S22 Ultra does not have better battery life than the iPhone 13 Pro Max, but it does have very good battery life, and I don't think that's going to be a problem for anybody when it comes to using this phone all day long without having to keep charging it and charging it and charging it. It does have a fast charger, and it charges really quickly. So if you actually manage to get you one of the fast charging bricks, I think it's worth it. It really like juices up your phone pretty quickly. So I've enjoyed using that with my actual device. And going back to talking about using the S22 Ultra, I was using the iPhone 13 Pro Max for a while, and when I noticed when I would drive for Uber or DoorDash that the screen would dim. Just like I talked about on the iPhone, the screen dimming whenever you're getting into gaming sessions like on Genshin Impact or just a graphic intensive application, and then you're gaming and you're enjoying yourself on the iPhone and the screen dims. Same thing would happen whenever I was actually using Uber or DoorDash with the iPhone. The screen would dim. I go drop off a package or I drop off something to order and I go to take a picture. Screen dims. During the day, I can barely see the picture, which is a pain. And so I was very happy when I actually switched to using the S22 Ultra, and I decided, hey, you know what? Let me go make a couple extra bucks this weekend. And I actually used my S22 Ultra, absolutely no lag, and I had no problems and no dimming. No dimming of the screen. So I didn't run into any of those issues at all. So I actually prefer to use an Android, and specifically this S22 Ultra did a fantastic job when it came to me using it for stuff like Uber. So again, there's going to be pros and cons with any device that you get, but for my particular use cases, when it comes to gaming and when it comes to just like certain things that used to kind of bug me because I've used the iPhone for so long, and when it came to using this S22 Ultra, is I like that the screen does just not just leave me hanging, just dim and I can't see anything. That is a huge hassle. Now, I haven't posted in a while, so my previous videos I was kind of stuck between the Z Fold 3 and the S22 Ultra, and honestly I love both of these devices, but as you probably can tell, I did in fact decide to stick with the S22 Ultra just because it kind of fit what I was wanting to use my device for just more than the Z Fold 3. I honestly don't feel like the S22 Ultra is much better than the Z Fold 3, to be honest with you. Of course, there are cases where no smartphone can touch the Z Fold 3 when it comes to just consuming certain content, playing certain games, just purely in a smartphone arena, not comparing it to actual tablets, just it's a smartphone and comparing it to other smartphones. There are experiences on the Z Fold 3 that are still unmatched. I will say, as a content creator and somebody who is really enjoying making videos, I really do appreciate having the S22 Ultra instead of the Z Fold 3. I find the camera set up to be a whole lot better, and I love the app optimization when it comes to me actually using the S22 Ultra over the Z Fold 3, including even here on YouTube. Like I said in a previous video, if you haven't watched that, I will leave a link to that up top here. But there are certain things that I've just really found to be really comfortable, and I kind of welcome back pretty quickly after I switched back to a more classic form factor. But again, I wouldn't say that the S22 Ultra is actually better than the Z Fold 3. I would say they're about even, with the S22 Ultra being slightly better for obvious reasons, better processing for the camera, different things, high storage. So again, I love the Z Fold 3, but I did in fact decide to go with the S22 Ultra, and so far I don't regret it. Anyways, if you actually decide to switch out from the Z Fold 3 to the S22 Ultra, did you send that 22 back and decide to stick with the Z Fold 3, or did you actually make the switch? And if you actually upgraded to the S22 Ultra coming from any other phone, how was your experience?